What's up everyone, welcome back to the X-Trail Diaries. My name is Razor Shepherd and today we are going to be pulling this little corner apart. We've got some little clips and some little screws in there. Because when the last time I filled up my reservoir, which if you have an X-Trail you know is right down there, pain in the ass to fill up. The last time I filled it, it didn't leak from up here at all, but we had fluid running everywhere down here, so I'll show you to start off with. It'll drip just about there where that wet spot is. Not at the top yet. Starting to leak. Yeah. We're still not at the top just yet. I'm sure you also realise there's two screws on the ground, just as I've just realised as well. So none of that has came out of the top at all, obviously, because I'm no longer putting water in. So we've got a leak somewhere there. To do that, you're obviously watching this because you've got an X-Trail, I imagine. We've got that bolt in there we don't need to touch, if you can see it, that bolt in there. We have a clip up there we do have to take off. And we've got in here, see the reservoir's literally just there. We've got a little bolt thing in there somewhere. That one's obviously given up on life. And then we should just be able to pull that away from that and get into diagnosing the problem. A Ryobi bit kit, 150 bits, and a tool pro I think it is, mechanic kit. Most of that we won't use, we're just using a screwdriver from it. See if I can get a visual in there at all. You probably won't see anything with my hand in there, but see how we go. Get flat piece screwdriver, flat piece, Phillips head, I'm pretty sure they're actually called anyway. Now you can still hear the water dripping. Now we're aiming there. You can probably just see it. These clips do tend to break rather than unclip. Also haven't turned the wheel, so I don't exactly have the most room to work with. It's actually popped out, I think. Surprisingly. Popped right out. So that's that clip done. This piece sort of just pulls away like that. Now, if I'm correct, fold that back. We've got a little bolt just behind there joining those two panels together. And then we've got to take the bolt off from down there. That'll fully loosen this up and give us the ability to move the bumper. And we'll be able to look at our currently still leaking about 3 minutes after I finish doing the water. And we'll be able to see what the problem is in there, hopefully. I was sick of working around the tyre, so I have turned it, hopefully enough. The what's it called? The bolt up in this bit is a 10mm. There's also a Star Phillips bit. I'm trying to call them by their actual name, but ironically I don't actually remember their actual name. So, just for the sake of making this a little bit easier, I'm trying to do it with the screwdriver bit. There we go. There's really no way to show you this part at all. Because it's such an old screw, it's also quite a long screw. It's not really, where's my camera? There it is. It's not really like a really big star, it's more of like one of the flatter ones. You don't want to get your pointy star in there because you'll probably end up stripping something out sooner or later. Now that one's out. This does pull away a little bit, but we've probably got another screw up here somewhere, no doubt. I can't really remember it being month or two since I've taken this apart. Now we've got this little, oh, that screw is actually completely out. Well, that's useful, I guess. Now, I dare say the leak's not at the bottom, because otherwise it would always be empty. So before I go ahead and take everything apart, I'll quickly pump some water in there. See if we can spot where the leak's coming from. Once again, that is absolutely no water coming from the top. There's a little bit running down there. There is quite a bit running down on that side, which you probably can't see. You can sort of see it, I guess. I can't see any running water besides that one at the bottom. Yeah, I'm going to have to get the bumper fully out of the way. So just for the ease of access, the other screw is there, but obviously on the other side. You'd normally have about 1 or 2 screws down here, but they both seem to have disabled themselves. I'll come back after I've got the bumper out of the way. So if you're a mechanic or you've done any car work yourself, you know exactly what I'm about to say. I've also got an umbrella set up there, so the sun is not shining in my eyeballs because it's over there. So there's 2 bolts in here, those 2 up there. But as my memory suggests, we actually have to take off the corner light and the headlight, because there is another screw about there which you can't get to unless you take all that off. So to take that off, you've got 1 bolt, no bolt for the corner light because it's attached to the headlight. There, I'm going to take a wild guess and say they're a 10mm. They are. That's a 10mm. That one's a 10mm. Obviously you want to make sure you're not pulling any cables tight when you're doing it, pulling any connections loose. So I'll pull that off, show you where that last bolt is, and then hopefully we'll finally be able to move the bumper out of the way and get to my little leaky problem in there. Thought I'd be nice enough to bring you along on this journey. Thought I'd show you how to actually remove the headlight. So we've got those 2 clips out, not just wiggle this umbrella out of the way for a second. Sure, I'll need it again soon. Got that bolt out and that bolt out. This is connected to this, so I've just got to, as per usual, the body works nice and tight around the actual light. Got to wiggle it away from that. Now we're out on one side, and we are out. Now just to make this easier for myself, it's obviously a blinker. I've got aftermarket headlights that I'm also going to disconnect. And the Parker bulb, which is all the way over here, take all that out so I can just completely remove that out of the picture. Now, that right there, that little rusty bolt in there, is the only thing stopping us from swinging this bumper out. So I've got that little screw out. Now realistically, obviously you've got bolts down the bottom and also under. You've got one at the front, about there. Before I get too much further in my demolition process, that's obviously the washer bottle, and then we've got the fog light further up there. top of it looks dry. It leaks somewhere from around the other side, which isn't what we like to hear because you can't see that other side. Unless if you get the bumper completely out of the way. So we've progressed a little bit, we've got the bumper fully out of the way. It is certainly leaking from this side somewhere. I've poured in some more water. Once again, none came out of the top. It's leaking from somewhere there, which I dare say means I'm going to have to unbolt it so I can turn it and see if there's a hole or something there. I'm back. I have good news and bad news. Good news, it's out. Bad news, if you ever have to do this yourself, it's taken me 50 minutes to just get this far. We do have a little crack in there. Wait for it to dry. Get some, what do they call it? Super glue in there. Fill her up. If she leaks, didn't want it. If it doesn't leak, well, super glue's the king once again. Also, not 100% sure if I included it. Bolts to get this out. There was two in here, which were these two. There was another sneaky little one, which was that bit. That screws into down there. You've got two headlight, a bumper one under there, a bumper one in that corner if yours isn't broken. I won't touch that because I don't want that to fall because we've got wires and that hanging out of it that I can't get off. And you've got the clip and the screws back there. Either take photos, do whatever you do to make sure you remember to put all your screws back in and put them in the right spot. You don't want anything to break, especially when you're driving. So I've swapped ideas. Like I said before, I was going to use super glue. I've since got a new idea. Could be more of a bad idea. Better idea. Just trying to lift the bumper up so I can get the phone a little bit closer. So the crack is in there. I can get that to sit like that. There you go, perfect view of that crack. Is actually a decent size. I've changed my mind to a little bit of a dodgy method. We're gonna do some plastic melting, which some would call stupid. I wouldn't blame you. I also think it is stupid, but I think super glue is a worse idea. Now, it's obviously plastic, so you don't want to be breathing the fumes coming off this stuff. You also obviously don't want to burn yourself. For that reason alone, I'm going to say do not try this at home, unless if you've got a burn wish. It's going to sort of, it looks terrible, but trying to do it without burning myself, or melting the fucking reservoir, which I think I've just done. Wow. That's why I shouldn't lean against something that's not fixed to anything. Now I'm probably still going to have to super glue a little bit. Just to make sure it is all sealed up properly. Yeah, I did melt the plastic a little bit. Also wouldn't recommend touching plastic if essentially just lit on fire. Yeah, that's better. Looking pretty slick. Still gonna have to super glue it. hopefully I haven't burnt a hole in it. So it's now been super good about 7 times, and zip tie welded, I'm going to call it. Welcome back, everyone. Got all bolted back in. There's the 2 front bolts. The back one you can't see, but it's in up there. Got a use there, and we're still running. It's a very small hole now, but you can see it sort of spurting out there. So my super glue slash zip tie boning didn't work. So I've located some industrial strength sealant, which is going to take probably 2 to 3 hours to set. So let's sit there in the sunshine for a bit, and then we'll come back and test it again. So it came to my attention, it's been about an hour and it's still wet. So I'm going to put everything back together, put the bolts back in down there, headlight and bolts back in, all these bolts back in, get this reattached. It is the next day. Thought I'd give it some time to set, because after all it is industrial stuff, so it takes a while. Funnel and all that set back up. It'll probably leak about there-ish, but on the ground, if it does. Hopefully it doesn't. Let's get it started and finished finally. Was coming out of the top. I don't believe it's leaking. I think that's from me spilling it about 45 times. Finally, it only took probably about 18 hours. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you come back for the next fix. I don't know what that is. Could be rust related. Could be clearing up that light. It's a little bit foggy. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye bye.